Okay, this is a ritual, a very old photo of Aleister Crowley, and these are some of his participators. Okay, and I want you to notice the seal on this individual's back right here. Once again, the Star of David. As you can see, they have knowledge and they fully understand what this is all about. They fully understand that there's an equation that they themselves have to overcome to evoke this energy, this spirit, or this presence. Of course, within a ritual geometry surrounding. Okay, as I told you before in other videos, that they can evoke the presence of certain of these individuals, but they have to be contained within that geometry, which means they are, in a sense, creating a field distortion, much like a bubble, in a sense, where they're canceling out the equational field source of the terrestrial physics, which blocks their entrance into our domain, into our dimensionality. So through the ritual, the sacrifice, creating fear, anguish, and pain in the ritual persons of which they're using to create this energy distortion, it begins to disrupt the field with the correct geometry or equation in place. And that's where you would see those symbols, you know, those talismans, if you will. And those are to harness energy and to redirect energy. All right, so I just want you to see that it's highly relative to what we're talking about, that this is a knowledge which is known, which governs the actions of spiritual energies as they seek to apply themselves to material realms. Okay, so it doesn't mean that this is bad. What it means is that it can be used for good or to distort the good, creating a conditional environment in which this evil or this bad can appear, which in its full force manifestation, not just manifesting through men, but its actual spirit identity. All right, so let's talk about this a little bit. We'll get to the God particle and how it connects to the Vril Society, and of course the Force from Star Wars, in association to really what this is kind of telling you here, right here. But it would kind of lead us away from the flow of thought where we are right now. So let's just kind of recap what we're looking at right here. They seek to apply themselves to material matter. Okay, in this instance, this main identity that we're seeing, the Fallen Prince. This is going to symbolize the material matter, and at the same time, it has the echo of the knowledge of how the spirit association is going to be done within the material construct. Okay? It's mapping out the conditional requirements for this to happen. They're telling you, hey, we know that. We know the requirements. We know what it takes. We've altered the condition. We're about to reconstruct the equation, and that's where you hear them say, we got the God particle. Well, they don't really got a God particle. It's more like a spirit brick. And they're going to use this spirit brick to reform the material construct as we're seeing this identity of man create the peridium shift in the consciousness of men. And at the same time, this peridium shift will create the ability for this Antichrist to fulfill himself as the consciousness in a material man where we once did have dominion. So even the atoms themselves at this point are still rejecting them. They're saying now we got the control of the atom. We're about to, in a sense, we're 99.99% sure that we're able to get ready to do this, is what they're telling you. So they're going to use this knowledge of the spirit brick not to build the deeper spiritual truth, but they're going to use it to rebuild the material construct. That's exactly right. That's what they're saying. This New World Order is about rebuilding things. First, you got to tear them down. So they want to tear down the old conditional laws that governed the entrance of these spirit beings into our space-time dimensionality. They're going to rebuild the construct of the human psyche. They're going to rebuild the magnetism itself and the polarity of the earth as it reflects the polarity of the human condition itself. Instead of a singular current of flow, they're going to create an AC Antichrist alternating current of flow. Both ways, if you will, the androgynous male and female, positive and negative, simultaneously at one time, using both the knowledge of good and evil to become gods. So I guess what I'll say is that next thing we're going to go is we'll start talking about how this talks with the apple. Every single form of life goes through what is called the torus stage. In this stage, the life embryo is said to look like an apple. This is called a marula, apple, and lo and behold, it looks like a hexagon.